Okay, so first thing to do is we are going to do interpolation. So let's load the data first. There's a lot of data. Emily, when you look at the year, it looks like the thing was grouped according to one of these headings, isn't it? It appears that it was grouped according to country, but country U comes first. Anyway, so you have year, DME, country, ISI, and net interest. Hey, what's the name of that?
It's net interest income.
Net interest income. And I made it IT. Then it should be II. And then the other one is non-interest income, another II. But remember you said I should make it IT. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, it's called morning breakfast. Okay, so you have all of this. Let's load the data. Actually, if you look at it carefully, the year should have come second. You know that.
Okay.
But then leave it. But then ideally, the year should have come second. Anyway, so let's go to load the data. So this first command will load the data. To be honest, we can find the head and the tail of the data. So let's do head of kill. Data is called kill. That will give you the first 6 rows. That is what we have here. So the first, my PC is misbehaving all of a sudden. Okay, so the first 6 rows of the data is here. Then, and that is why, and then the tail of the data is 6. Okay. So that is the tail of the data. So we are dealing with 14,886.87. These are observations. That's huge data for future work. Are you aware?
Yes, sir.
You don't know. You don't know what we've done. Okay. All right. So now let's indicate whether there is any missing. So this is to find missing values. I just want to check. So is there any missing value for net interest income? Why is this thing giving us a lot of decimals like this? I don't like that decimalisms. I know I corrected this thing somewhere. So first, let's see whether there's any missing values in this. Okay, I need to use Q dollar. So you have false. That's a lot. Which means there are no missing values for that one. And this is going to be a lot. Okay. You have to scroll through all of them to be sure, isn't it? So I want the number of missing values. So we'll not even use this one. Okay, this one is just old one. So we're going to find missing values. So this command finds or find missing values in the data. And we command that it should print because we label this one as n not available underscore count. So the data is kill. Okay. The data is kill. So we command that you should print out the count, that is, count the number of not available values, the missing values in each column. And then you should give us the result with a print and account. Then account is just the command I gave for the column sum is .naq. So when we do that, we get this. So if you look at the year, there is no missing value for the year. DMU, there's no missing value. Country, there's no missing value. ISIN, there's no missing value. Net interest, what's the name you give to it?
I think it was the net interest income.
That one has 58 missing values. Then non-interest income has that missing values. Labor, total assets, they're all fine. My worry is if it is zero, whether it still counts it as not available, or it counts it as zero. Because you remember one time I told you that, is zero considered as a missing value or not a missing value? If zero is a value, then zero is not considered as a missing value. You know that?
Yes.
And I remember seeing zero in some of the variables. I'm just thinking aloud.
That means we need to.
Upon sorting it by the non-performing loans. In fact, there's even a negative value there, isn't it?
Yes.
And then you can see that upon sorting it by non-performing loans, all the zeros were not taken care of. Oh, there are quite a number of zeros. Well, it could also imply, you see, let's think deeply about it. And by the way, non-performing loans, we were told that non-performing loans had zero missing values, isn't it?
Yes.
But there were zeros there. So unless the idea is that the firm was existing, but they were not able to generate any non-performing loans.
Okay.
You get a point? That's a possibility. It was existing, but they did not generate non-performing loans. It's not that it's missing. It was not missing. It was there. And what was there was zero. R is sensible in telling us that. You get a point?
Okay. Yes.
So for me, that is how I perceive the whole picture. And by the way, we still have negative values too. So we have to deal with that. That leaves us with negativity in R, in DEA analysis. We'll come back to that. But for now, let's check another variable. Another variable that was labor. So let's check, let's sort by labor. So if you go away from here and sort by labor, labor 2 had some. So that one is quite funny. These are United States firms. So the bank didn't have any labor. So who was operating the bank? That is funny. That is funny. I mean, our principle is going against us. The bank is generating billions and billions or whatever, millions of dollars with no worker. What do you say to this? Oh, that was money that was feeding. Look, some of these are 2023. Unless we are saying that COVID is killing some of these things. But of course, the main point here is that all of the variables have got some zeros, even though they were not missing value. Another one is total asset. If we sort by total assets, okay, I'm sure there might be some missing values there. There you go. Well, there must be some zeros there, even though they are not. And most of these ones that were zeros were also the ones that the variables were simply not there if you check it carefully. You get a point? So we got to make a deep decision now.
Okay. Yeah.
We got to make a deep decision as to whether we are going to include those with zeros or we are not going to include those with zeros. Let's make that decision. Because I like the fact that it's a real data cleaning that we are doing here. So, where did I have this subset as usual? We'll take this one. I mean, I'll walk through this again. I just want to do a quick try here. So, this one is showing the results. All right. So let's start with the head of the data. The head of the data is this. That's what we see here, everything. Okay. The tail of the data is that. It's still 14,887. Okay. This column will find the missing values and I will print the results. And then the missing values looks like non-interest income is 48, missing values, deposit is 48. Meanwhile, the others are free. There's no missing value. But then upon checking from here, let me go to the top of this data. Upon checking from here, we got to know that some of these things have got missing values for non-performing loans, missing values for the total asset deposit and all of that. They've got missing values for some of the DMUs, some of the companies. So we decided that then in this case, we will handle those that had missing values, not missing value, they have zeros. Okay. So we're going to use this command to identify this command below, command number 9. We're going to use this command to go through each row of the data and then identify those that have zeros. But hang on a minute. If we identify those that have zeros, what happens to, anyway, we'll check it again. But the question is, what happens to the missing ones? How many did you get it?
Yes, and so that one we are going to use interpolation to fill it.
Yeah, it's true. So they will still be there. That's what I mean. What I mean is that what happens to it, by that I mean they will still be there.
Yes.
So let's keep the number in mind. We have 58 and 48 for 3 of them. Let's see whether that will still be. Okay, so we will identify those that have zeros here, and then we'll get this. Now we have a new data set, which is K1. Let's look at the tail of K1. It's still 14,887. Okay. Let's see whether there are missing values in that. I'm sure it's going to be the same thing, to be honest. So we are doing for K1. That's interesting. Missing values is 72 for all of them. So why? I don't want delays. you're going to walk us through how you did your cleaning. Yeah, go ahead.
Doc, please pause and let me just check.
I'm showing my screen, which is what you did, or you are showing how you did it.
I'm not too sure. Doc, can you please pause? I just want clarification.
I've paused. I've stopped sharing. Go ahead.
Okay. The only thing I did was remove the zeros. I'm not too sure.
You said I should stop my screen sharing, right? So that you can share, right?
I was talking about the recording.
Okay. So tell us what you did again.
Okay,
tell us what you did again.
Okay, so for the 6 variables, I went through one by one, sorted them out, and brought the zeros to the top to be deleted. And then went through, like I did that for each of the 6 variables there.
Okay. For the zeros.
Yes.
What you have here are only the ones that are empty.
Yes.
But why are they looking like they are only under the first one particular variable?
No. So as you go down, some of the other variables also have blanks.
Okay. All right, okay. So we can now take this data set to our work here. And then we can ignore these ones that we were trying to do to remove. So based on what you said, I can now sort them out. Originally, they were sorted out by what? According to what?
That I think either DMU or the year. One of them.
I think it was DMU. So let me sort this out by DMU and see. By the way, it seems what you have shown me is rather sorted out according to ISIN.
No, Doc, mine was sorted out by the NPL.
All right, okay. You mean the last sorting? That's what you mean?
Yes.
All right, I'm taking the data set to R. And then now this is a head. This is a tail of the data. So now we have 14,774. Do you remember what it was before?
I think 14,888.
Okay, so please take note of these two so that we indicate that they were sorted out by handling this approach, by using this approach. Now let's check the missing values here. So deposits still have missing values. Net interest income have missing values, which is what we spoke about. So now we come to exactly what we want. We have to now handle those missing values. All right, so we are going to handle them by missing values. So now that we know those that have got a missing values. Okay. And you can see clearly that the missing values were not that affected by the removal of the zeros.
Yes, I think it just reduced by
they were
one.
only done by one.
Yeah.
They were 48, 48, 58. So I think that one of the missing values had 0. That's what it means.
Okay.
One of the missing values.
There was a 0.
Yeah, there was a 0 And then there was a 0 in one of the rows, in one of the columns of one of the rows. Yes. All right. So let's see whether we can use interpolation now to address this missing values. So we'll increase the maximum row by the column interface here, set the maximum print to be almost 1,000,000. You have to install the package known as library and then library inputs. Let me see. Okay. So now, interpolation, we are going to interpolate using linear interpolation. And then we will now check again what has happened to that. So I'll copy this one. And then after this, I'll check what has happened to the missing values. So you run this linear interpolation, which is command number 12 here. This is a new data set. Of course, we can't show everything. But what I want to do now is, of course, I can only show the head of the data. So let me just rather show the head of the data. And then the tail of the data, which we now call QI.
Okay.
So the head gives us this, the tail gives us that. It's 14,774. Before, it was the same thing. No?
Yes, sir. We are just filling in the blanks, so it will be the same.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me just now look at whether there are missing values in this second one. Good. So now there are no missing values in this second one. So technically,
okay.
You notice that interpolation is that simple if you have your data sorted out.
Yes.
Now, this new data, I can export it. So I can export new data to Excel for the person who might want to have it. We can call it clean data 3. The original one was what? Clean data 2.
Yeah. So we can make this 3.
So we can say clean data 3. And to do that, of course, we can look at it first. Sure. Look. This is a new clean data. We can use this package installed, which is write text 1. We can install and then load this, and then use where you want the results to be. I want to still give the name as clean data. So here at the end here, I'll use clean data. And I'll go to the folder where I have my clean data 2. Take this, come here, and technically, as you can see, it is this gene. You can see that we always use double slash instead of 1 slash. So I'll change this. And then double the slashes. Good. I can now run it. Oh, I made a mistake. It should be clean data and not my data. Good. Now it's gone.
Okay.
And it is now called, remember that our original data was actually known as Q, and then we made it QI. Okay. So this clean data now is here. It's supposed to be here actually. Let me refresh it and see. So it appears it has not shown here. Ah, I made a big mistake. It's rather gone into the drive. I should have done double slash here as well. Yeah. So let's do it again. It's rather supposed to come here now. It should pop. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me refresh it. Yeah, there you have it here. Clean data 3. So this is more or less, and by the way, when I open it, let me just quickly open it. So when I open this, you have the US, you have the variables as they're supposed to be. So now this new data, I can take it to my Excel, to my R, and then working. So now from here, I can say that working on the new data set. And I can now rename it as U. And then have the head and the tail of U here. And here, obviously, it will not have any missing information. I am just doing it, but it's just to confirm. So I'm not going to really, I'm going to delete it afterwards.
Okay.
Let's call it U here. And then when you just run this, you see that you still have 0, 0, 0. No missing values. I'll delete it. You can look at the data also in an Excel format. If you do view, you see the data in a kind of a beautiful Excel sheet above. You see it?
It's yet to show.
You still don't see?
No, Doc. Okay. Okay, I can see it now.
No, it's not this one. Hold on, it's not the one we saw.
Okay, this is for oil and gas.
Let me show it again.
Okay.
You see? So you can now see the data set all showing here, of course. You know, sometimes when you're doing the other one, it says that it is truncated. You know, sometimes I will say that it's truncated. For example, here it truncated it at 100, but here you can continue because you are looking at it in the data frame. All right.
Okay.
So now we can proceed with our commands. We can do a couple of things now that we've done the interpolation.